Hey YouTube, it's Nick. It's Nick from Mitch and Nick GCN, and I was coming to you guys with a video which I just needed to make because one of my favorite books is going to be made in a movie, and that book is Fat Kid Rules the World by K.L. Going. Probably my favorite. Probably no, that's not even the right word. It is my favorite book of all time. I've probably read it 10 or 11 times in the last year. It's that good of a book. And I don't even like reading, and I still read this book nonstop. I mean, honestly, usually it's in my backpack at all times. I just take it, I whip it out if I'm not reading anything else. And the movie itself is gonna be directed by Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard played Scooby in the Scooby-Doo movies, in the newer ones, like with the animated dog. And he was okay in those, but I think his best work is he played Steve-O with the blue hair from SLC Punk, and that was a great fucking movie. Probably my favorite movie. And I mean, my favorite book and one of my favorite actors directing it from my favorite movie. Like, I'm really, really stoked about this movie. I've been looking on the internet. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't found any trailers yet. Hopefully there's going to be one soon. That's just a word on the street that there's going to be a Fat Kid Rules the World movie. The book itself is a great story. It's about this kid named Troy Billings, and Troy is 6'1", 17 years old, and he's almost 300 pounds, and he hates his life. He lives in the most unforgiving city, which is New York City on the Lower East Side. It takes place there because it's a punk rock-oriented book, and that's why I love it so much. I think they made it in the Lower East Side because of the punk rock scene with the Ramones, because that's where they say punk rock really originated from. But he hates his life. He's a loser in high school. He's a huge fat kid, huge obese fat kid, and he just wants to commit suicide, and so he's standing on the subway tracks and he's looking down at the tracks, and he always refers to himself as the fat kid. He's like, oh yeah. And then he thinks of something funny, like the fat kid gets splattered by the subway train, and he starts laughing maniacally to himself because he's Troy, and that's just how he is. And this kid, this grimy little homeless kid who looks like, really, actually, if you read the back, it says, or not the back, it says, where did I see that at last time I read it? Oh, the acknowledgments, yeah. She says, I would like to gratefully acknowledge the artist who inspired this book, Kurt Cobain, and whose life and lyrics said, come as you are. So Kurt, the character, the grimy little subway kid, he's pretty much a homeless version of Kurt Cobain. And he hears Troy laughing maniacally to himself. And he's like, you laughing at me? Because he's on the ground. Troy's like, what the hell? Where did that fucking come from? And he looks down and they start talking and stuff, and Kurt is like, my name's Kurt McGray, and they shake hands, and Troy almost pisses himself because Troy's a huge punk rock fan to the local scene on the Lower East Side, and Kurt is the god of that scene, and he went to Troy's high school, and Kurt, the last time anybody saw him was the year before, when he just got up out of school and he just left for no reason. He just got up one day in class and just left, and nobody had seen him since then. And so Troy is shit, oh my god, I just shook hands with one of the gods of punk rock in the local scene. And Kurt's a huge fan, or Troy is a huge fan of this band called the Smack Metal Puppets, who they hang out with Kurt and stuff. So Kurt convinces Troy that since Kurt saved his life, that Troy should buy him lunch because he hasn't eaten, he's homeless. So they go to a diner and they talk about music, blah blah, and they go home, and Troy's late to go home, so then he goes, and Kurt comes up with the excuse that they were at band practice. I do the quotes because they don't actually have a band. It was just an excuse. But then Troy used to play drums in middle school, and Kurt is the guitar dude. So after that, they actually form a band. They get Troy back on the drums, and they pretty much just are going, trying to get gigs, and it's funny as shit. the book, and it's like sad because they have to deal with like Kurt's drug abuse and like all the problems that happen, and it's just a great book. I mean, it's a short read too. It's let's see here, 185 pages. I know I don't like long books. I mean, it's just the best book I've ever read, honestly. They're making it into a movie. Hell yeah, even better. Matthew Lillard directs it. That's all I can say, honestly. Hell yeah, good for them. Like, so I'm totally stoked about this. As I said, correct me if I'm wrong. If there is a trailer out there, please, let me know. That's all I have to say about this. Everybody, peace. Thank you for watching.